It's been a while. I don't really know how to introduce this as well, but we got to get my co-host here. Legion, give him a wave as well while you're here.
Hello.
You might notice Legion as well. The on air is a bit cut off. We're just having a bit of technical difficulties. We can't go through it. We will fix it off stream. I promise. And that's so. But the main thing is he is there. You get a close up of him. He's looking more beautiful than ever, and that's so. People enjoy
You
the
get to
wolf.
see the you get to see that 4K high def of all the fur.
Do you do just shampoo or do you condition it as well?
Oh, bit of both, bit of both.
Bit of both. Nice. Okay. Before we start the show, I'm going to apologise. From my half as well. I don't know if Legion will want to say anything as well. Just from my half, the last couple of months have been hell for me. Okay. There's a few real life stuff going on that sometimes we were going to stream on what 2 days. We were going to do one
Yeah,
before.
like
Yeah, one.
2 or 3 separate occasions.
Two or three, one before Bash and Berlin, and then one before Bad Blood, and it just did not work out in that. And I do apologise to all the guys as well, because Legion says as well we've got a few mad supporters as well, which we appreciate as well. So at the end of the stream, we're gonna throw it out to you guys, and we're gonna ask you. It's going to be the world famous Legion's question as well. Anything on wrestling, Legion will ask the question, okay? And
World famous.
it will be world famous by the end of it. Trust me. I'll make it world famous. I don't know how. Maybe at a big event over in the US, I'll have our Twitter I'll have our Twitch and that, and I'll have the question there, and that's how I make it world famous. It might get me in jail, but it'll be worth it. So yeah.
What, are we gonna have our own booth at TwitchCon at some point?
You can only dream, and that. So it's going to be a longer episode as well, and that. So yeah. But just from my point of view, I do apologise in that. So just from my point of view, when I want to do this show, I want to be close to 100% as I can. Okay. One of the times I had an issue with myself, and there was no chance of that. And then last week as well, just something happened the night before, and I got hardly any sleep. And that. The last thing I want to do is Legion going through something and me falling asleep on the stream. It would not be actually any fun for anyone in that. So I apologise. We'll try and be more better in that. But guaranteed at the minute, from what I've seen, there's Survivor Series, which we'll do a show in 2 weeks, and that we will. And then there's no December pay-per-view at the minute, but there is Saturday night's main event, which I don't. That's probably not a big pay-per-view, but that'll be our last show for the year, and that, and we'll do a special show on that. So you get, including today, 3 more podcasts on that. So yeah. So
I was gonna ask if you wanted to do the Saturday night, the main event.
well, the thing is, it's not a major for me. It's not. Are they treating it as a major pay per view or?
Are they trading as a pay-per-view period?
I think they are. Well, premium live event if we want to get technical.
Yeah.
I think since we've missed a couple of shows, we'll do at least like a couple more shows and that. Like the last show, we'll do some end of year awards, what we think, and that. So yeah, that's why I just want to get that apology out and say thank you to all the guys as well. So
Yeah, I apologize as well because a lot of IRL stuff happened last minute when all this happened.
mm-hmm.
It, I hate it.
it's
I hate adulting.
it's unfortunate we can plan for everything and then just something will happen and that, and it's try and treat this as professional as we can, because like anything, I want to treat it as professional and that, because for me this is a friend's dream as well. So I'm trying to do that as well and keep that alive for him and that. So, but anyway,
And you are.
yeah, I know. So let's go. We missed Bash and Berlin pay-per-view, which by the way I won. I'm on a hot streak at the minute. I know I don't know how you feel about me being on this hot streak of winning our competition and that. So look, I know it's a bit harsh and that, but just go with me. So let's go over Bash and Berlin, will we? What were you? Well, I'll go over what we thought of the pay-per-view at the end of that. But going from the things, the first match was Cody Rhodes defending the title against Kevin Owens. The beginning of the Kevin Owens snapping and that, I feel it was a really good match. Like I know people are starting to say Cody is turning into Super Cena. And by the way, Hulk Hogan was Super Cena before Super Cena was Super Cena. Just saying. That's just my point of view on that. So, what do you think about the Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens match?
It was a pretty good match, pretty predictable how it would end. Because let's be honest, Kevin Owens wasn't going to be winning that.
No,
But the way they delivered the match was just phenomenal.
especially at the end when we thought we were going to see another like the turn as well, and he was just struggling with his mind and that. So I think the only surprising result, which we'll talk about next, was Bianca and Jade winning the titles back. Like
I did not see that
I
coming.
did not see that coming as well. I thought my question behind that was, do Bianca and Jade need the titles? Like we've talked about the women's division, the tag team women's division,
It,
how it's not
it
gone right.
all here's my point of view on it. Should they have the titles? No, but I see why they have the titles.
Yeah,
Because they want to showcase Jade Cargill more.
yeah, and
And what better way to do it than with the titles around her
yeah,
waist?
yeah. I can see that as well, but I thought Isla Dawn and Alba Fire would have done more
Yeah.
of the titles than them, just personally, because I actually really like them as a tag team. So that was my only surprise as well. Like, then we had CM Punk defeating Drew McIntyre in a strap match as well. So that kind of went the way we all
That
thought it
was
was.
that was actually a pretty funny match. I'll admit, I loved it.
It was. I'm still a bit nervous on Punk in that, and we'll get on to Hell in a Cell, which I was really nervous for because I thought, oh god, he might have gotten injured in that. But I'm just glad that he's actually getting through some matches not being injured. And I know people
There's,
will smirk at that, but it's this CM Punk.
there-
Like it's sorry to go on about this. This CM Punk is way different than the other CM Punk. Whether it's a put on by him, you got to take him at face value, and you hear all the work he's doing in NXT and all that stuff. I feel like he's really changed, and I'm just glad to see him actually. He hasn't had the many matches as he had, but just to see him having probably feud of the year, like him and
hands down.
Drew would have to be feud of the year for you. I would have to say, wouldn't you as well?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
I don't care if the bloodline storyline is the hot topic right now, but Drew versus Punk was the feud of the year,
and
no doubt.
and we got to give props to Drew because CM Punk couldn't wrestle from January this year till SummerSlam. So how many months was that? That was like what, 8 months?
And Drew kept that feud going.
Yeah, he I hope there's one more, and I believe there will be one more title reign, hopefully for Drew uh, when he gets there and that. So when he comes back and all that stuff. Whoops, 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 whoops. Oh, sorry, my bad. That's on me. Sorry, I was looking at a message from someone. Jeez, I'll learn not to do that again. See, do technical difficulties and that. So, all you can do is just laugh and go on, and I thought that wouldn't actually show up in that. That's my bad as well. So we'll be working on that after stream as well. Yeah. So yeah, it was the first strap match we had in I forget how long. So it was a really for a strap match as well. It was really good as well. They might have had one in NXT. I can't really remember in that.
The last strap match I personally remember was Triple H versus Umaga.
That's going back.
Was it Triple H?
No, it might have been CM Punk.
No, because I remember it was Umaga.
Well,
That's all I remember was Umaga. I can't remember who. I think it was Triple H.
I don't know if anyone is listening and can actually tell us in that. So, but we'll go on to the next match. The Terror Twins. Terror Twins and Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest defeating Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Standard mixed tag match. Both, in my opinion, Rhea and Priest needed the win, to get a bit of heat back on what happened at SummerSlam. And that was just my thing. I don't know how you felt about that, Legion.
Even at that time, I was starting to fizzle out on this whole Judgment Day thing because it just wasn't doing it for me for that much. After the whole turn initially, then okay, uh, Finn finally gets his Finn and Damien finally get their match. I'm like, okay, cool. Now, okay, let's end this. And they kept on going. I'm like,
Yeah,
enough's enough.
yeah. Then it's they were supposed to have a new name Judgment Day as well. Don't know why didn't go with it. They were going to be
Yeah,
street trash or something like that. So
yeah, that wouldn't have gone up very well. But if you notice, they actually been wearing the shirts from time to time.
yeah, I don't know. And then the main event, Gunther defending the title against Orton. Number one, I didn't realize how long the match went. The match was nearly 35 minutes as well. What can you say about Gunther and Randy Orton? It's a dream matchup as well, and I thought it was really good match by both of them. Number one, it's showcasing Gunther in his first title defense against a quality opponent in Orton, and that do you reckon Orton will win a title by the time he's retired?
He might win one more.
One more, yeah.
Because he's up there in age right now.
Yeah, and title reigns as well. He's on, was it 14?
I think 14.
Yeah.
And from what he stated after he returned, I think he said he had 10 years left.
I wouldn't even go.
He retires.
I wouldn't even go that. I think personally,
no, he did. He signaled off camera 10. If you watched any of his fan footage.
Okay, I didn't see that. So
it was I think it was that Survivor Series when he returned.
Yeah, it was, and I would probably need to see the footage in that. I personally, that was last. I think he's only got maybe 4 or 5 years left in that. So that's just me. I hope he goes for longer, but yeah. So that's another thing as well. So it was. What do you think of the pay-per-view All Up Bash in Berlin? I thought it's. These minor pay-per-views that they're having, I don't think are going to blow the, be too spectacular, personally. It wasn't terrible, but I think WWE is in a position where, hey, we're having a really good, we've got a good thing going here. I can't remember the last bad pay-per-view they did in that. So it was nothing spectacular, but it was not terrible as well. So
if I'm gonna rate it out of 10, I'll probably give it a solid 7.
I'd probably go say 6, 7 as well. And people say 6 pretty low and that. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Good matches and all that stuff. Let's quickly get on to Bad Blood as well, because we're going to ask a question here in a second. With Bad Blood, we opened up with CM Punk defeating Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell. Did you know, number one thing, this was the 51st Hell in a Cell match as well.
That's amazing.
It's from 1997. They're averaging basically nearly 2 a year. I know we had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which basically gave us one a year, which has kind of ruined it a bit, but my God. I was, number one, as I said to you at the start, I was hoping A, Punk could get out of this without hurting himself. And B, they could actually have a decent match, and it was match of the night. You can't say anything more about it.
When you open it with a match like that, it's nearly impossible to follow.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I'm just glad that Punk got through. And even Drew in defeat looked really good as well, and I think both of them have come good off this feud as well. So, be interested.
And with that, I wish him a speedy recovery, because that's the reason why from what I hear, why he's out.
Yeah, and that.
Because that was a legit injury he had.
Who on Punk or Drew?
On McIntyre?
Oh,
McIntyre.
What was McIntyre's injury?
On his head.
On his head. Oh yeah.
When he got busted open.
Oh yeah.
When he got busted open.
That was, how many stitches was it?
It was 8 or 9, or no, somewhere around there.
Wow. I don't know if anyone can see. I got a scar here. This was 7 stitches. So yeah.
Yeah, he got that busted open from the toolbox hit.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
That was not supposed to happen.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that as well. Wish Drew all the best as well, because whether Drew is a face or his heel, he is just, I think he earns whatever money they're paying him is not enough. I think he could earn a lot more, and that's so. We go from he really did. Then we go to Nia Jax and Bailey. It was an okay match, but I just can't get behind Bailey as a face. I don't know why. With the current role model
I'm
persona.
I- I'm I'm sorry, but it's been a long time since anybody said this, but I turned that into a bathroom break. I was not invested in that match at all.
I'm invested in Nia
I'm
Jax.
sorry.
I'm invested in Nia Jax as a heel. Like I think, like
Oh, I
yeah,
I am too.
yeah,
It's just that particular feud. It was like I had zero interest in.
yeah. It's. Do we need to move? Do we need to move Bailey for a fresh start? Maybe to Raw, and
Pretty much get her back
I wouldn't get it
with
back.
damage
No, I
control.
wouldn't get it back with damage control. Like still Dakota Kai is out. How long is more Dakota Kai out for? Because I know it's just
I don't even know.
it's Kairi Zane and why am I
EO.
EO at the minute and that, so it's I don't know,
They're
maybe
holding it down.
yeah, maybe she could come. I just don't know. Like I was just not interested in this match. Like no offense to Bailey and Jax, because I think like Bailey is the one of the original four horsewomen, and Nia Jax since she's come back last year has been actually really good in that. So it's just I think these two just need to stay away from each other. And I remember them feuding in the past, and it was just like couldn't like I was not interested. You know how two people you think would feud good together and they just don't. Just trying to think who
Yeah.
I think first one of mine comes to mind is Undertaker and Rock back in the day. Like they were really good separate, but just together, just I don't know. They had a feud and it was kind of terrible. That's the first one
I
I
just
think of.
yeah, that one match was just hilarious between the two, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Anyway, Nia retained. I don't see her losing the title till probably Mania. Maybe at the Rumble. I don't know what their thoughts are at the minute with that, because I know Charlotte
Yeah,
Flair is returning soon. So
I'm just putting my prediction for Nia Jax for WrestleMania. Pretty much her versus Tiffany Stratton, with Stratton walking in as champion.
okay, well, and that would mean what, Nia as a face?
No, probably Tiffany as face.
Tiffany is face. Okay. I mean, she did get cheered at Elimination Chamber. I mean, it was over in Australia, and we're backwards apparently, according to people.
Because I foresee that during like Rumble or something, Nia gets upset with Tiffany, and Tiffany bashes her with the briefcase, cashes in.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the next match. We had the next match was Priest defeating Balor. You're probably right. It should have been the end of the feud here with those two and that. Oh, it's just good to see. Probably not good that Finn really. I know. I tipped Priest and you tipped Balor in this when we did this, and I could have seen Balor winning as well, but they're really
I
getting on Priest as the big baby face on Raw and that, which
yeah,
I'm behind.
I get why they had Priest win it because they want to push him higher and higher and higher.
Yeah,
But Balor, outside tag team matches, when's the last time you've seen him win
yeah.
a big singles match?
I think it's nearly time for Balor to leave and maybe even go to SmackDown and have a push on there. I don't know what you think, and that I think he's
He had a restart in NXT and that went phenomenal. Then he came back to the main roster and just flopped.
yeah. It's I think Finn Balor's incredibly amazing, but it's just when he won the Universal, when they were pushing him back in, I think it was 2016, when they pushed him for the Universal title, and he won it and did his shoulder, like it's just,
That destroyed his career.
I don't think he's ever recovered. To be fair, personally, from that, like
Yeah.
personally, and that's so they had a good match. Obviously, Priest has gone on to bigger and better things. Then we had Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan with Dirty Dominic Mysterio high in a shark cage. We also saw the return of Raquel Rodriguez, which, by the way, the ending was botched, and that I think these two
Heavily.
I think these two had a really good match as well. Just really good to see Dominic playing up, being inside the shark cage as well.
Well,
And
we got Dominic's costume during that. During that, if you forget.
Yeah, the costume. You want to go on more about that? Sorry.
Yada.
Yeah. Sorry,
Huh? Who? What?
the costume. What about Dominic's costume?
What is going on?
What is going on? What's up?
I'm freaking out right now. Anyway, it's like Dom, Dominic was a pinata.
It was. You would think when he's about to fall out, number one, he wouldn't go to, fall head first. I don't know why, and then get hung up in that. So I kind of had a look at that and thought, huh? And then I thought, yeah, it was funny how to see Rhea belted him and that. So what do you think about the teaming up of Raquel Rodriguez with Liv and obviously Judgment Day?
I'm a bit upset because I didn't see it sooner. Because I should have predicted it, but reports were saying Raquel wasn't going to be coming back. She's going to be retiring early due to her condition.
Yeah.
If you remember hearing about that.
Yeah, because she performed at Elimination Chamber, and I said this to you, the first thing when I saw her come out, I go, oh, God, she looks a bit different because she had no makeup on. I thought, why is she looking? I actually thought then, something's up here, and that's so yeah. I mean, I think they tried to push her as a face, and her smiling, like my issue with people when they're facing that, I know they got a smile, but when they're constantly smiling, that it kind of ruins it for me. And that
the only one that worked was Finn Balor.
I think
when he did his smile.
I think even you could say then it was kind of, God, you don't need to smile all the time, Finn, to be fair. And that
it was creepy, but it was amazing at the same time.
It was very creepy. It just reminded me when Diamond Dallas Page was in WWE and he had the smiling thing as well. And that not the when he was a stalker, the thing after that when he was always smile and be positive and all that stuff. That's the only one I think it worked for, and that personally in the day. Then we had Gunther retain the title against Sami Zayn, and that these two. God, I hope they have more matches down the line, and that these two could.
I was really disappointed that they didn't go with a very strong storyline with Gunther on this one. Even though it was predictable, I knew he was going to win, but
yeah,
they should have had Sami win it, to be honest, or have him win in a fashion where there's a storyline saying that Gunther cannot beat Sami.
So you would have Sami winning the title, or just winning via DQ?
No, like winning via DQ, something where Gunther cannot beat Sami.
Yeah.
It's like because Sami beat him WrestleMania, and then Sami keeps kicking out, he keeps surviving, and all of a sudden just get a DQ, saying like he can't beat him.
They're also
had that story go on for a while.
Yeah, I could actually see that as well, but they're also trying to protect Gunther because he's only lost up until Crown Jewel. I think he's only lost. He's been in WWE since 2019, and he's only lost like 6 times in that. I think
six times now.
Yeah, 6 times now, which will get the Crown Jewel, which I thought was, I didn't like it how that. And I'll get onto the prediction as well, and that, and then the main event of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeating the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. As soon as we saw Roman and Cody have the special entrances, we all knew straight away that the Bloodline was losing, and that. But
if I remember right, they botched Cody's entrance.
Did they?
Yes, they delayed his music.
Oh God.
You saw the Titantron with the thing.
Yeah.
You saw the smoke. No music.
I mean,
for like a good 20 seconds.
I mean, as we just show on here, live things can go wrong, and that, so it happens, and that, so
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll say that it was hilarious.
It was a really predictable match, like I thought I was going to go. I didn't see, like, I know we heard the reports at the end when The Rock came out, and hearing the crowd, it was just. He still got it, The Rock. I will say that. Like, even in the ring as well, like, I feel like he had a good match at Mania when he was in the tag team. Like, he actually held his own at the tag team match at Mania with Reigns and Rhodes and Rollins and that. But yeah, it was and then he did this at the end And that's meaning, are we gonna him Roman and Rhodes at WrestleMania? We don't know. If you had
We'll
to,
see.
if you had to, would you want to see him in the main event, or would you want to see him and Rock and Roman just 1-on-1? And that, what would you want to see?
Pers- Personally, I would like to see Rock and Roman, but with the whole Roman wanting to go for the title, and then Rock mentioning he wants to go after Cody, I see a triple threat.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting how they're going to get to Mania and that, because there could be several different things in that. So, and anyway, speaking of Hell in a Cell, which we said at the thing, this leads to the starting question: favorite Hell in a Cell moment? We've had 51 to choose from. What's your personal? Do you want me to go first, or would you like to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You go first.
So-
Since you won the prediction war.
Um, like I said, there have been 51 of them, and that, so it's just really hard to choose one in that. But for me personally, it's more of a moment. It's a moment that, I don't know if you remember this Hell in a Cell moment, but it was the 6-pack match at Armageddon
Oh,
in 2000 with Taker, Rikishi,
yeah.
Kurt, Triple H, Rock, Steve Austin. With
And don't get me wrong, the UGG is not a bad UGG. It's like a massacre UGG.
yeah, for me, like, I know the match was probably not the best one in that, but just for Taker and Rikishi, and we all remember how big of a man Rikishi was. For Rikishi to put his trust in Taker, to actually throw him, well, not throw him, but just guide him off the top of the Hell in a Cell. I just remember watching, going, holy shit! Like, even they could have all the padding in the world for a man that size and that, and I just went, wow, and that just really blew my mind. And even see the wrestlers in the ring, like, they just looked at it going, holy shit, and that's so glad he actually survived that as well. So I could have, I could have picked the first Hell in a Cell match with Taker and Shawn, with the debut of Kane. There have been some other classic ones as well. Taker, Brock Lesnar back in the day as well was another good one as well. We go with that. Like, but for me, just that moment, like, it's a not talked about moment in that, and I just thought it was just really cool in that. And we won't bring up. I was going to jokingly say my favorite moment was the Fiend and Seth Rollins, and that would have. I would have loved to have
Everybody
seen.
get your flame torches and pitchforks.
Oh god, I really want a day, if we find a segment, talk about the Fiend as well, because is that the greatest missed opportunity ever in WWE? I think it is, personally.
Yes.
And that. So, what about you? Do you have a favorite match moment? What do you tell me now?
I have one of each.
So,
I have one of each, and you named one of them.
okay.
The moment part is Rikishi being thrown off by Undertaker on the top of the Hell in a Cell.
So
That was my favorite moment.
So we're thinking along the lines again, okay? Rightio. It's
Yeah, because I looked at a little documentary behind all that, and it was all about timing when Taker threw him off. If I remember what he was saying, because it said if the trajectory was off even by the slightest, he could have been killed.
Yeah. Like it's.
And I remember his family was heavily against him doing this.
I must have missed this document. I did not see that they were heavily against
It wasn't really a documentary. It was more of a like an interview, like a podcast interview I was watching.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And my favorite match, this gets a little skeptical, is I can't remember what year it was, but it was SummerSlam.
Go on.
Undertaker versus Edge.
2008.
Thank you. No, it wasn't 2008. It had been 2009.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It had to have been.
I'm pretty sure it was 2000.
It was after. I thought it was no, because it was after WrestleMania 24.
Yeah, which is, I think, 2008.
I can't remember it. Anyway,
If someone in chat wants to prove, like, if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but I'm pretty knowledgeable about these things.
my memory is like whacked up. You might be right.
Don't worry,
but,
I had a birthday the other day. I turned 42, so trust me, I get it in that. But yeah, that was especially for me, remembering that match, just the ending when Taker threw Edge
threw him
through
off the top of the ladders.
yeah, into hell and that. Like, just the camera changes then were the big things that I noticed. Like, it just went all staticky and then like went to like I think it was Jim Ross and I forget the other guy. They weren't talking and that, and yeah. And
Yeah,
that it's
and
a
because they've had a year-long feud at the time.
they might have been. I know definitely because Taker. That's the year. Was that the year Taker won the Royal Rumble? No, that was
No, that was the year
the
before.
year before. That's right because yeah. So it was. I'm pretty sure it was 2008 as well because no, he won
Because the reason,
because he
because
won.
because that Royal Rumble was when I got back into wrestling.
Yeah, because he won the Elimination Chamber to challenge Edge at that Mania, and that's I'm pretty sure,
Yes.
and that's so yeah, that's there's one of the that's one of the Hell in a Cells you really don't I don't really think as well, but just remembering as well because like Edge was beginning to lose it as well, like he broken up with or decided to stop seeing Vicky, who I think was an on screen
Hmm.
thing and that and as well, and
And
that's
she turned into a temporary face, if I'm not mistaken.
I think as well because she brought back Taker because they lost the match at
Hmm.
because he
Hmm.
Edge actually retired Taker at a match earlier in the year.
No, they quote unquote not retired, but fired him in a
Oh,
sense
fired him. Okay, my bad. And yeah, so
because he lost the match.
uh, yeah,
Because the only thing that really stands out in that match to me is, other than the ending of the match, was that was the only match that I can recall that Taker does a spear.
okay, wow. See, you learn stuff from this podcast as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. I did not realize. I'd have to go back and look at the match. I can't remember him ever doing a spear, and that's so wow.
Yeah, because it was like it was like a revenge thing, because him and Edge been feuding for so long.
Hmm.
This was the match to end the feud.
Actually, yeah, it was as well. So yeah. Anyway, pretty good Hell in a Cell moment as well. It's funny how we had the same moment as well. So I probably should
Yeah.
try and think of a match. I couldn't really think of a match just that moment. Like all the matches had been good in that. So anyway, I suppose we should get on to some news, which you're going to start us off with some. So we're going to go some WWE news, AEW news, and opinion, and then TNA news and that. So what's the big thing
Okay.
happening in WWE there, good sir?
Big thing happening in WWE right now is like everybody probably heard it by now. It's been around for, was it a couple months now?
Yeah.
Was the WWE. I almost sound like freaking Vladimir Kozlov for a second. Oh, double E. WWE ID program. What that is, it's an independent developmental program, which goes, so as of right now, as far as I know, is only going through 3 independent schools.
Yep.
Which is currently run by Seth Rollins, the Black and Brave Academy.
Yep.
Rikishi's Knox Pro Academy, that one's in LA. The other one's in Davenport.
Yep.
And was it the Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center in Concord? That's New Hampshire.
Yep.
And Cody Rhodes, I didn't even know he had one until I read this. Nightmare Factory in Atlanta.
Isn't also
So I'm guessing.
isn't also Booker T part of it? Or was he not?
I thought he was, but it's not listed on.
It's not listed. Okay, rightio. We missed that as well. So,
But probably Elite Pro Wrestling says, but I'm not sure.
yeah. For me,
But what is this? It's just going through these schools and just training them to be like WWE stars.
yeah,
I'm guessing.
yeah. It's
Like OVW used to be.
yeah, like and for me, I'm all for it. Can you just imagine back in the '80s trying to get into like WWE or NWA as it was back then? Like how hard it would have been, and that and now there's a program for these guys, which I'm all for as well. So I even saw recently as well. I don't know if he was involved with Rikishi School, but there's another guy from the family now in the WWE, Lance Iowa. I'm probably butchering the name.
That's IY.
Iowa, yeah, yeah. So
I might be butchering it.
yeah, I think yours was more better than mine in that. So I apologize for butchering the name in that. So, but it's anything to get guys in the wrestling. Like for me, I just remember back here, Orlando Jordan had a school in Melbourne, which I'm 3 hours from, and that's so just to give their knowledge on, like who is it? Rikishi, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. God, if they're even there, I don't think they'd be there for any of the days. But even if they're there, just to hear them talk about their philosophies on wrestling, like sign me up, please.
With the indies kind of on the topic, I've been doing a little side research on some indie wrestlers.
Yep.
Within that family.
Yep.
One person I was researching the most was Zilla Fatu. I don't know if you heard who he
I
is.
have heard who he is. Yep.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that's Umaga's son. And
Is he close to signing, or is he signed, or is it?
no, he's not signed. He's still in on the independent
Oh, he's
circuit.
still in on the
But
independent.
his finisher is a combination of his dad's finisher and his cousin's finisher, which is Roman Reigns.
So it's
He does the Superman spike.
the Superman's. Okay, wow. Okay. Hopefully, no.
It's the combination if for the combination of the Superman punch and the Samoan spike.
I really
It
like.
looks
Yeah,
amazing.
it looks amazing. I have not seen a video of it. I'll have to have a look at a video of it, and then, like, I'm all for like developmental programs to come into WWE, and that I'm sure they would have them at AEW and TNA. Maybe not officially in that, but just something like that. So I'm all for this. Like, this is a really good move as well. So it's a big tick for anyone who wants to get into wrestling. Go to those schools, and that.
And those schools will, instead of the performance center, you go to the performance center through the indies and they'll teach you the WWE way of
Yeah,
wrestling,
yeah.
how they do it. These schools will get you ready for that ahead of time.
Which is really good, and that. So, um, yeah, that's really good news. I really do enjoy that. We should get on to some other news as well. Um, I saw on SmackDown last week the announcement of a new title for the women. The what was it?
Oh yes.
The women's
The
US title.
Yeah, the Women's United States
The
Championship.
WWE Women's United States title. I have not seen Raw yet. Please do not spoil it as well. You would think that they've
Yeah, neither have
announced.
I.
You would think that since they've announced on SmackDown the mid card title for the women, which has been needed for a long time, you think there'd be the Intercontinental version on Raw and that. But I think it's like as I said. I know it comes down to maybe there's too many belts and that, but the women have needed a mid card title for a long time, and I'm really happy that they've announced this. Who do you think is going to be the first person to hold the title?
I the one person I have in mind.
I
I don't know if you agree with this,
no, no, no,
but
no, no, don't say it. I probably have the same person, so say it now.
Chelsea Green.
Even if it's for a week or two reign, give her the title because she has been incredible this year. From the Money in the Bank match to the match she had with Michin on SmackDown, the dumpster match, she gets it. She might not be as accomplished wrestler and that, but she gets the entertainment part. For God's sakes, I think Naomi is going to win it. That's just me and that, but I would not be against Chelsea Green having like a couple, maybe even a month reign, and then either Naomi or like this has opened up so many opportunities for other people who wouldn't get it, and that. So yeah.
I know I'm reaching here, and he's never going to watch this, but Hunter, if you are watching, listen to this.
Okay.
Put it around her waist.
It's just like I think I don't know how they're going to. They haven't announced if there's a tournament taking place or how they're going to award the title and that. But yeah, definitely give it to Chelsea Green. Like seriously, give it to
100%.
And I'm not the biggest Chelsea Green fan, but like she gets it and that people who get wrestling, she gets it. There are people who don't get wrestling.
Wait, I'll talk about this later.
Okay, rightio. Then also they announced. I should have seen the news thing as well, but they've announced when Raw goes to Netflix in 2025 as well, it's going to go back to 3 hours, and SmackDown will be going to 3 hours. And as soon as I heard that, my heart just went. Like since Raw has gone back to 2 hours, which has been since November? Sorry, October, maybe September. I forget when it went to 2 hours and that. But
in my opinion, SmackDown shouldn't have gone 3 hours. After thinking about it real hard about it,
yeah.
But there was another show that should go 3 hours,
and
that's NXT.
I'm sorry, but I severely disagree with you.
No, there's a reason I say this because they have so much people on there, like the new talent, that's not getting showcased at all.
And this is why I don't think.
And the reason why they're getting
this
and this is a good way. This is a good way for them to get showcased to show them what they got on live television.
No, number one thing I will say, the main talent going to NXT every now and then should be every now and then. And that I've always had this issue about. I think 3-hour shows should be pay-per-views. Sorry, premium live events and that. When we get to like the big pay-per-views like Mania, obviously Mania's 2 nights, so that's what 4 hours each night. I think maybe 3 hours. I don't really know. I know Royal Rumble's 4 hours and that, but it's. To watch a weekly episode of a wrestling show for 3 hours, it's been a drag for me, to be fair, since Raw went to 3 hours. And that 12 years ago, I think it was, around that time. And that going back to 2 hours means I can get through it. Unfortunately, I agree with the part, some talent won't be shown, and that sucks. And that, but for me, I go to the old guys like Jeff Jarrett and Jim Cornette, what they say. And Jeff Jarrett had some really good comments on this when he was talking about how long should a wrestling television show be, a weekly wrestling television show. And he said, an hour is too short, and I agree with that. I remember when NXT was an hour going back when it first came on, after the when it was a game show, when it first came on.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
We don't. But I remember NXT being an hour long, and you get like what, maybe 3 matches at the most, and that's it. I thought no. But then Jeff Jarrett also said he thought 2 hours was too long. He thought the 90 minutes was perfect, and that for me, I think 2 hours to 2.5 hours is the most I can go. But what's that? You want 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of SmackDown, and 3 hours of NXT. That's 9 hours of wrestling a week. I'm just saying.
No, I'll just say keep. Yeah. I'll just say keep SmackDown 2 hours the way it is now, because it's perfect the way it is now.
Yeah.
But give NXT that 3-hour mark, or at least 2.5.
Yeah.
To showcase its the talent that they signed, because a lot of times they'll release this talent and not showcase them at all.
And they're also got like we're not including other programs like I know NXT Level Up, which is actually going away as well, and I know there's main event as well and that. But for me, it's trying to get through. What next year we're going to get through 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of SmackDown. Then there's 2 hours of NXT. Then we're going to AEW, which is 2 hours on Dynamite, and then Collision, which I try and watch as well, both of them, and then TNA, which I think is a 2-hour show as well. It's just sometimes.
What happened to Shockwave?
I don't think they've officially announced that yet as well. So there's a bit of an inside joke. If anyone gets that, good on you. It's sometimes less is more in wrestling and that, and I think the 2-hour shows I'm really going to miss, because for me, it doesn't really affect me over in Australia, because we get Raw like at midday and SmackDown at midday, and that it's more for you guys over in the States that have to watch it. Like, you have to get home from work and that, and like it's normally at 7 o'clock it starts, depending where you are. The time zones over there.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So that's
8 o'clock.
8 to 11. You're watching that. Like it must be a drag, and that like for me personally, I really hope they go to 2 hours. And if they want to sell the 3 hours, maybe 2 hours of action, and then have an hour of like them doing interviews, maybe reliving old matches on that day. This day in wrestling, we had this this episode of SmackDown where so and so took on so and so and that, but just 3 hours of live performance for wrestling, I think, is too much to watch in one sitting, and that. So,
I have a question with this, since we had the Netflix thing as part of the topic.
Yeah.
Since Raw's moving to Netflix, right?
Yep.
Are the PLEs going to be going to Netflix or staying on Peacock?
I think
or whatever program you're going to be watching on.
I think it's just Raw is going to Netflix. I think was the thing, because we got SmackDown on. Is it USA or is it something else?
USA.
It's on USA, and NXT is now on CW. I'm pretty sure is the
that's a common network here.
Oh, it's a common network. Okay, sorry.
Pretty much, it's a non-cable network.
It's a non-cable network. Okay, it's very different to over here in Australia, and that like there was a time growing up in the 90s where we had 5 stations over here, and that's another story I'll get into, and that's in the 90s as well. So, yeah, it was yeah. Anyway, we could talk about that another time.
It's a Stone Age.
Yeah, the 90s is Stone Age. God, making me feel old here again.
Hey, I lived in the Stone Age. Okay.
Yeah, I love the Stone Age as well. Wish we would go back to it. Like, I think 2 hours is the must in that. I know they're going to go to 3 hours due to advertising as well, and that, and good on them. But it's going to, unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to, probably stream it later on, and that because getting through that is a big must. Is a bit
Oh,
hard for me. So yeah.
adding on to the Netflix thing, I don't know if you saw or anybody else saw this. So apparently they're going to be showing, I don't know if it's all of them, but some live events on Netflix as well.
Maybe some of the live events are going there as well. We don't know. We'll have to see that when it happens. And
But
that,
they did say the that European tour they're going to be doing for was it for this upcoming WrestleMania tour?
yeah.
It's going to be uh on Netflix.
Okay, that's really
All
good.
of it.
Cool. All right. Bit of sad news. We're just going to quickly touch on this. Unfortunately, Samantha Irving has left WWE. Wish her the best of luck as well, because she was an incredible announcer. I know there's been some other things that's been posted on Twitter and that, and when I heard she left, I was in shock. I thought, "Oh, what the hell has happened?" And that so, but it's good to have Lillian Garcia back. That's all I got to say. So, but yeah, we wish Samantha Irving all the best in whatever she does as well, because she is
Yeah,
very
for sure.
talented. So, suppose you
Yeah,
should.
what was John? What does John Laurinaitis always say? Best in your future endeavors.
I was waiting for you to do his voice.
Sorry.
Hang on, can I do his right? Best in your future endeavors. Is that? That's
I
terrible.
was like, I can't do that without ruining my throat.
Yes, best in your future endeavors. People power. That's actually not bad. Anyway, I'll move on before we lose our audience in that. So let's get on to some AEW news. Let's go.
I think we already did.
Yeah, no, sorry. Lashley debuting in AEW. I'm happy for him. Very happy. He's got the old gang back together with him, MVP, and Shelton back there. Now I need Cedric as well, but looks like his major feud was the major feud he's having is with Swerve, isn't that? I'm just happy that Lashley has found a place in that somewhere. Like obviously,
And they rebuilt the Hurt Business.
Hurt
I think
Business.
it's now what called the
Syndi-
Hurt Syndicate. I think
Hurt
it's called.
Syndicate, yeah, and that it's unfortunate that we can't have. I know due to trademark and that, but the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Business just went okay. I like that. Hurt Syndicate might actually work on with me as well after a bit in that, but I'm glad. Hopefully, he doesn't get lost in the shuffle in there. That's my biggest issue in there because
Yeah.
both, like I said, WWE rosters, NXT rosters, and AW rosters are stacked. They are so stacked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy with Bobby Lashley, AEW, and WWE on that point. If you haven't heard,
do you want to
I
go?
won't get too much into it.
You.
I won't get too much into it. It's just it's all over. It was all over social media at the time. I don't know if you saw.
Okay.
It was a fact saying that Triple H or
Oh,
Bobby Lashley
is it?
and I think MVP were calling Triple H was it racist or something like that for not bringing back Hurt Business or something or
Yeah.
promoting pretty much only blacks with blacks, Hispanics with Hispanics, whites with whites, and like that's like been happening for ages.
It's a very touchy issue. I can admit that as well, but it's. I did see that, and
I admit it's. I admit, yeah, I agree.
They also talked about. I really probably shouldn't be getting this, but I'm just going to say Trick Williams is a champion. So, why do we need to go there? And Moose in AEW is a champion as well, and that we probably shouldn't get in because it's a really touchy subject as well. But I would have loved like the Hurt, and I think they could have made a thing for the Hurt Business to come back in WWE and that, but obviously it just didn't suit them and that. So, it's a really hard subject in that. Like I said, I hope he has a lot of success in AEW and that because he's a really great wrestler. Him and MVP, I've always enjoyed MVP's side as well. I'm just ashamed he can't wrestle anymore because he was a really good wrestler and I really just enjoyed MVP's work in that as well. Especially Shelton as well. Like he was very athletic and talented. For him to not get his head kicked off, you remember that super kick from Shawn Michaels where he leapt off? For him not to get his head kicked off is just amazing talent from him.
That was an iconic move.
Yeah, and that just shows. And he didn't have his... Like, I know he was a mid-card champion and that, but he was probably underperformed in WWE as well, and that's so...
What was it? I kept seeing this video over and over again that with Shelton Benjamin, that he did not know he was winning his first title.
Yeah, that was the Intercontinental title. That was for Taboo.
That was Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah,
I think it
Taboo
was.
Tuesday back in when they did the voting, and that was over Jericho, and that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because I think they all were expecting somebody. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody else. I think it was Batista to win it.
yeah,
But everybody voted for Shelton Benjamin, and even he didn't know he was winning until he got the pin.
yeah. I think we'll have to move on as well. But yeah, just like I said,
Yep.
wish Lashley all the best in AEW. Hopefully, I don't think there would have been any room, but I was kind of hoping they could actually have the Hurt Business in TNA, and that because both him and, as a friend pointed out in thing, the Beatdown Clan, which was their stable, and that which I actually didn't mind in TNA, and that, but it got a bit colluded at the end with Samoa Joe
What's that?
and that joining in.
What's
So
the current stable right now with Moose?
it's the System.
System. Can you imagine the Hurt Business versus the System?
Who would you cheer for?
Good question.
I think
I have no.
I,
I like them both.
I
to be
like them
honest.
both as well. I think Moose is a. I think they watch a bit of TNA. Moose is just fantastic. I can't wait for him to do a face turn and that because I think people will get behind him. We'll get on to TNA soon as well because there's a couple of things I want to talk
Yeah.
about TNA as well. But they also the one thing I want to talk about is. See, I come from the Attitude Era, is when I watch most of my wrestling. I did watch a bit before then, but there's the things that's pushing the limits in wrestling as well. And I don't want to go pushing the limits as bad as um, I'm trying to think of the thing. Sorry, controversy and that, like pushing the limits and that, like. I mean, hell, I was watching Raw at a time where, if you remember the wrestler Val Venus, apparently he was close to having his penis chopped off in a skit, and that they showed it from the behind view. I don't know if you remember that. There was.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything controversial you thought back in the day of watching wrestling?
Back then, no. Times were different back then, and things like that were on kind of a normal thing to get the ratings, and people were excited for it.
Mm-hmm. It's just like I said. There's the new clan, the new thing. Well, not the new clan. The new stable in AEW has been John Moxley with a Maria, and now Pac and Wheeler and Claudia. And that the one thing I will say, it was after a pay-per-view match. There were two incidents as well. It was at the All Out pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure. After the All In one is that we had the. I'll get into the whatever the John Moxley stable is called. I forget what they're called. And that they're not the Blackpool Club anymore, and that, but them with the plastic bag over people's heads, I'm just not a fan of. In that, I know in W.
That right there is a little different than I agree with the whole controversy thing, but the whole thing with the what you mentioned before, but the chopping thing,
Yeah,
that was like in like not inclined, but implied.
implied.
What was
Yeah,
gonna happen.
implied. Yeah,
But this one is physically happening right in front of you.
yeah, and it's
It's dangerous.
it very is like
Very dangerous.
like we could bring up. We were talking about Undertaker before. Like I remember you telling me about the match he had with the Boss Man at WrestleMania.
Yeah, where you hung him.
Where he hung him. Like even like me as a 17-year-old, I saw that and I went, "Oh, that may be a bit too far." Like I agree with pushing the limits, but going like, suffocating people and that, I'm just not a fan
Yeah,
of. Like,
there was a when he was doing an interview during his podcast, even he said that spot went a little too far.
yeah,
He admitted it.
yeah. It's we can push the limits, but I feel like sometimes when we do push the limits, go a bit too far, we need to come back as well. Even in the match, Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland had. By the way, that's my AEW feud of the year as well, and I'm becoming a huge fan of
But
Hangman Adam Page.
but here's my big butt on the whole plastic bag thing. That came back around full circle, if you remember. When he was in WWE at the time, talking about he hates plastic
Yeah,
during his heel run,
yeah. It's
and then they do this.
they could have. I don't. It's. I just thought it was a bit too far to have a plastic bag over someone, even if it's pretending like it's just. I don't know, and that even in the Hangman Swerve Strickland match as well. Like we saw a couple of things. Like they got got a syringe for God's sakes into someone's
that
mouth.
match went too far. That match went too far.
I love how AEW is pushing the limit, but that was just probably a bit too much to be fair. And I, as I said, I love the feud between Swerve and Hangman as well. So that was that. So got a bit of controversy in that, but hopefully we can AEW can move on and that. So yeah, let's quickly talk about TNA. So how are you feeling about Bound for Glory when your boy didn't win the title?
I was a bit upset. That's an understatement because he deserves it.
Yeah. By the way, in case people don't know who his boy is I don't know if you're going to do the thing. I'll set you up for the.
I don't have I don't have it up.
Oh, you don't have it up, damn. Oh well. So
no, I don't have.
His boy
It'll
is
take too long to get it set up.
His boy as well, which I enjoy his wrestling as well as Joe Hendry as well. He was challenging Nick Nemeth, who we remember as the former Dolph Ziggler, for the title and lost, unfortunately. And even the wrestling god appeared for some reason as well. It's really interesting seeing JBL and TNA. Never thought I'd see that as well. But here's my thing for you. We talked about that thing as well. I actually did think they were going to put the title on him because here's why I think as well. There's another pay-per-view coming up in January 15th. It's called Genesis, TNA Genesis. And that. Maybe Joe Hendry can win the title there. Even if it's for a couple-week reign, I don't know. Maybe a couple-week reign. Then show up at the Royal Rumble as the TNA champion. How do you think? Yeah?
I will say this. I know I said this to you before, but I will say this here. They stated they want to put a world title on Joe Hendry, but they never said from what company.
Do you think they'll put the NXT title on him?
That would be an amazing decision to make.
I don't know how they could,
because he could.
Yeah,
because he's not all over in TNA.
He's in, yeah.
He's not only over at NXT. He's over all over the globe.
Yeah, he's over all over. I completely agree with that as well. So it'll be a very brave decision from WWE to do it, especially from a guy not signed to them as well. So
it would be a great promotional move.
But
both companies.
As business wise, it'd probably be. There'll be people in NXT thinking, hang on, why is he getting a title shot? He's not even in the company. Why not me? That'd be the first thing that would come. I'd be all for it, but hopefully, I don't know. But
imagine the NXT title being defended on a TNA program.
Yeah.
That'll get eyes to their program as well.
Mm-hmm. Which they've...
I'm thinking from a business standpoint. Yeah. I apologize, guys. Yeah. That's how I think.
Yeah. I mean, we still got NXT wrestlers there. I know Wendy Chu wrestled a match there recently, and that. So yeah, they could. We don't know. Anyway, I think that's a bit end of the news, and that we've gone for a bit too longer, and that's I apologise. Let's quickly get into the Crown Jewel results as well. So, so the very first match was they've got them as a bloodline, but I call them the Outlaw Bloodline. Solo, Jacob, and Tama with Tongaloa defeating Roman and the Usos. When I saw this was the very first match, I originally thought, oh god, they're going to have Roman win. I thought, personally, and that I'm actually glad that they had not only the Outlaw Bloodline win, but also have Roman eating the pin as well. Because I got a question for you before we go into the results as well. Who sold the most merchandise in WWE last month?
Who?
I have a guess. I'll give you a guess. Just think about it.
Roman?
Nope.
Cody?
Nope.
I'm at a loss. Who?
Jey Uso. He outsold Roman, Cody. I'll find the news article as well. And CM Punk, he outsold all three of them.
Yeah, because he was in the top 5, if I remember right, for the longest time.
The merchandise sales, he had outselling them, all three of them combined. Think about that. Think about how hot Jey Uso is at the minute as well. So,
especially with him rejoining the OG bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I agree.
But anyway, back to the match. It was like a servable match. They're obviously setting up for the War Games match at Survivor Series, which is it going to be?
It had great.
Yeah, go on. No, you go on.
I said that match had great storytelling. Don't get me wrong, like phenomenal storytelling between Jey Uso and Roman
Yeah.
Reigns,
Which also
showing that Jey's not just is not going to fold over like he did before.
yeah, which also continued after the match as well, with Sami Zayn coming down after the Outlaw
Right.
Bloodline came, and that
All in all, that match was really lackluster, really lackluster. They could have done so much, but like I get they want to make Solo look strong and the story between Jey and Roman look like they're on ends with each other. I
yeah.
get it,
hmm
but they made Solo look too strong, in my opinion.
I think well, we all remember the little gag as well when Roman was a champion and Solo was there. Like, you get your win by beating Solo in the match before Roman at the pay per view. So maybe they're just thinking maybe we need to make him a bit stronger.
That was the thing. That
Yeah.
was the thing then.
Do
Yeah.
do you think the it's going to be 4-man at War Games or five versus 5?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be 4-4.
4-4. Okay.
They won't go 5 on not in this match.
I was
'Cause
going
if adding one more person per team, it will just water it. It will water it down too much because they need a proper OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0
yeah,
match.
yeah, okay, right. Yeah,
They need a proper one.
I was going to make mention as well. Maybe we could have. It probably wouldn't have made any sense storyline as well, but since Cody's already fought with Roman, have him on that.
Everybody keeps saying have Owens, no, not Owens, but somebody team with the. Oh yeah, Owens team with the new Bloodline versus the OG Bloodline with Cody. I'm like, no, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would Kevin Owens team with the faction he's been going against for the past 4 years?
Especially with Solo, like at the start of the year when it was Solo and Tamatonga as well. So I don't know. Maybe it could have been crazy. It could have been like last year when Drew joined Judgment Day. Like, it made no sense, but he said he just wanted, to take on the likes of Jey Uso and all those other guys on the Cody's team, and that's so. Yeah. They could have made it work, but I definitely agree with you. Like, Kevin probably wouldn't have fit there. With his crazy, we're going to get onto the Kevin Owens thing here in a second as well, which I loved how it was booked as well. But I think the match I can see people saying the match was a bit disappointing. Maybe they're setting up. Maybe they don't want people remembering this match more than the War Games match. To be fair, you'd feel a bit disappointed if the War Games match was crap compared to this, wouldn't you?
So. War Games matches are usually not crap. Usually.
You haven't met WCW, have you?
Did you not hear my word usually?
Yes, I know, but I could pull out one War Games match in WCW that was really crap.
There's a good portion of War Games matches that were really good.
Yeah.
Good portion.
Yeah.
But there's those select few that are horrid you want to forget.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on to the Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team title with Bianca and Jade defeating Damage Control, Metaphor, which they've been called up to the main. I'm really happy for Metaphor to be brought up. Lash Legend and Jakada Jackson as well. And Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Now, we both went the same. I thought if there was going to be a title change, it would be here as well. And I was hoping for Piper and Chelsea. And that, I thought they could have had a run for the tag titles again. And that, but obviously it's setting up for the women's War Games main event, match as well. Bianca and Jade obviously being on one side and the others on the other side as well. So it's hard with Fatal 4-Ways as well, especially tag teams as well, because, the matches, obviously, It can be a cluster, pardon the language, a clusterfuck and that. But, I think the match was good for what it was worth, personally, and that, so.
It was okay. I'll say this is saying a lot. This match, in my opinion, was better than the Bloodline match.
That is saying something. That is really...
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
That I never thought in 2024, we're saying, yeah, that's something as well. So, yeah. Let's move on, shall we, to Seth Rollins defeated Bronson Reed. We both agree. Even though, did you pick... I picked Seth, but I wouldn't have minded if Bronson had got the win.
I picked Bronson.
Okay, you
picked...
because
in my opinion, he should have won this.
Yeah, I agree. I personally agree. Like, I feel like this was a 50-50 match. Like, I feel like it could have extended the feud, depending what they
Like
want to do with
what,
Bronson and Seth.
the way they finished it was a bit like what, why, but what they should have done was, remember how the whole what was it? It was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor back in NXT. If you remember,
Yeah,
Finn Balor stated like he didn't win the match, he survived.
yeah, survived the match. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That should have been the type of finish between these two, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, this match obviously set up for the next night, which I think they could have done in reverse as well. Like, have Bronson
Yeah,
have Bronson have the win here, and then have him in the Fatal 4-Way for the title, and have Seth come and cost him. And I think
then like have Seth come out injured or something.
yeah, yeah,
Somehow cost him the
yeah,
match.
somehow cost him.
That was actually my prediction.
Yeah,
that
was
gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah. So yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't go that route.
and like I think Seth could have eaten a loss in that, but obviously, hopefully, maybe Bronson will get his big win if they do a match at Survivor Series, and that I think hopefully they'll do, and that's so yeah. The Kevin Owens Randy Orton match never actually happened, and I'm so glad because, God, I never thought I'd had this feud started a while back. I would have said this is feud of the year would have been CM Punk and Drew, because these two together, they've never actually been paired as a match, have they? Until this year, have they? God, we've been missing out on.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, and I can't. God, we've missed out on one of maybe the best feuds ever. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, and just, I want more of it, especially after what we saw on SmackDown with Kevin injuring Randy with the pole driver as well. Like, it's just, this feud so far has been so bang on, 10 out of 10, and I'm glad they didn't have a match in that, because yeah, it can actually continue on into the future, and that, so it was just really good to see this as well. So I'm more for Randy Owens and Kevin Owens. I'm more for of this and that. So
that was their tag team name.
Yep.
Randy Owens.
Randy Owens. Sorry, I got the name big. Were you happy? Okay, from your point of view, were you happy there was no match?
I'm actually ecstatic about that one, because if there was a match, it would have been amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the way they did this was even better.
Yep, I agree.
It makes your imagination grow on what's going to happen.
Yep. Let's get on to the Liv Morgan defeating Nia Jax for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship.
That one blew me away.
Yeah, good blew you away or bad blew you away?
A bit of both.
Bit of both. I'm
like, as much as you already know, and probably everybody else, I'm a big Liv Morgan fan. I have been for a very long time. Even during the what was the stable name?
Riot Squad.
Thank you. I'm brain frying so hard during the Riot Squad days. Heck, even during NXT, I was a big Liv Morgan fan. I even said to a lot of friends, she has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
She's gonna make it big on the main roster. I foresee it. And look at her, she's champion.
Yep.
Not only regular champion, she is Crown Jewel champion now.
Well, whatever that means as well. Did she get the hot?
Yeah.
I didn't see her with it. She didn't have the title.
The title stays in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
It stays in Riyadh.
Oh, they get rings.
But they give them they get rings.
Okay, right, yeah.
But it's not like when they get to Riyadh next year for Crown Jewel, they have to defend that title. No, there's gonna be a new champion.
Yeah, there's gonna be. Okay, right, yeah. I think this was, and it's a heel versus heel match as well. I think people will be cheering Liv more than probably Nia and that. But with the addition of Tiffany Stratton coming in, saying she was gonna cash in, and I actually said this to you. I thought she was gonna cash in, be in the match, and she would win the Crown Jewel Championship, and that would have probably made no sense. But yeah, so it was the addition. I feel like at the end with Raquel interfering and costing Nia, I feel like the right person winning actually won, and that for that match and that as well. So yeah,
I agree, but at the same time I disagree, which it puts me in a catch-22.
Yeah,
because having Nia win it would have excelled her even more with what she's in her dominance right now.
Yeah.
winning like the Queen of the Ring, winning the
Yeah,
title.
yeah, that,
Now win this.
yeah. You can make a point for that as well. I can see that point as well. It's just depending, which road they want to take as well. Like I could have seen that as well. I think we need to move on as well. LA Knight defending the title against Andrade and Camilla Hayes as well. The US title as well. I was very disappointed in this match. I'm not going to lie.
Whoa, really?
Yep. There was a bit of a botch at the end with the match as well, and that. But it's. I think number one, I will say the crowd as well. I think the crowd gave the crowd in France a run for their money because they were fully into it, even in the Raw the next day or the Monday when they showed Raw as well. Like I thought the crowd was amazing, and that ever since he's won the title, I know he's defended it as well, but I don't know, something feels off about LA Knight. He's still getting the crowd response in that, but we haven't found that I've always said this with people chasing titles, especially babyfaces chasing titles. When they win, it's what they do when they win the title to prove that the chase was worth it and that, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah, that one's hard as a early babyface. Like it's hard to keep people invested.
Yeah.
Cena back in the day when Cena was champion, he kept people invested.
Yeah.
Cody right now, it's a hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit to that one. It's a hit and miss.
Well, we're gonna get on to Cody here in a second as well.
Yeah. This was the opinion that me and you differ. Is I thought this was the match of the night.
You really? Okay, wow.
This match was amazing on so many levels.
Please tell me how as well. I'm curious as well. So
it's like pretty much the back and forth between Andrade and Carmelo was just phenomenal. And then there was that big botch that Knight did on the ropes, which I cringed when I saw that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the way he recovered was amazing.
I will give him that.
It's like how do you recover from something like that?
Yeah, I will give you that.
And it's
as well.
The entire flow of the match kept me on your seat. I'm like, oh, because I knew that was gonna win. But the flow of the match between the feud between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade was just telling a lot of stories during that match.
Maybe I'm being too harsh on that, but I just don't think since LA Knight's won the title, like we haven't found the right opponent for him. I feel like maybe
I'll agree. I'll agree to that one right now. His feuds have been very lackluster.
Yeah.
But the match itself was amazing.
Okay. All right. Maybe
that's where I was trying to get at.
Maybe we haven't found the right opponent. I feel like Carmelo Hayes just by himself would have been good as an opponent for LA Knight and that. Like I don't know who else we could get. Maybe down the line, I don't know how you feel about this. Maybe Jacob Fatu winning the title off him down the line. This is down the line, and that obviously when the
I will say the way they finished the match was spectacular.
Yeah. All right, maybe I was a bit too harsh in that, so who knows. And then we get to the main event. Can I say number one thing? I'm never having Gunther as my lock again. I've had him at the lock at Mania. I have him as a lock here, and he's lost both times. I seriously thought they could have protected Gunther. I feel like
I'm gonna use the same statement I used for Nia Jax. It's like they should have kept it going. How Cody could have eaten the pin on this.
Yes. With Kevin Owens, just coming back, maybe even have him and Orton come back and Cody getting distracted, and then Gunther gets the win. Like I know it'd be a cheap win for Gunther, but Gunther up until this time had only lost 5 times in his career at Thingo, and I know it was
like
I know he had the submission on Cody, and Cody did the old Bret Hart thing as well, which was cool to see, and that, but. I feel like it would have been better for Gunther winning and that for Cody, because Cody, have you seen Cody's win-loss record since he's been back in the WWE?
As far as I know, he's lost against
Drew McIntyre.
Did he lose against Drew?
Yeah, he lost against Drew. It was a Raw this year. He lost.
Okay, he lost against Drew and once against Brock.
He has won in these matches. I forget how many matches it was, but he has won 92% of his matches.
Yeah.
And that's so he could have eaten the loss, and I feel like it would have done have a screwy finish in that. It would have.
Yeah, but I even said this, he's the new golden boy of WWE.
Yeah.
Which is a not a good title.
I know the comparisons to Cena are starting to happen in that, but it's always going to happen no matter who the face champion is. Like I know there could be, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, but still, it's it's what I call the Cena effect.
yeah, the Cena,
Is
and it was as I said before, the Hulk Hogan was Cena before Cena was Cena. You know the way.
yeah, it's because I call it the Cena effect because everybody knows who Cena
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Not everybody watched all these Hogan matches.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because meanings like because Bianca Belair is getting that effect.
Yeah, I see that as well. Yeah, I completely.
And people are starting to boo him.
Yeah,
It's like because he keeps winning. He keeps winning. It's like have him lose from time to time.
yeah, and
That's all I ask.
I
That's all we
feel
ask.
I feel like this is where Cody could have eaten the loss in that. So you know, it is what it is. The overall the pay per view was. I feel like this is the worst pay per view of the year, and that's saying something. It was still a good pay per view.
Actually, no, he lost 4 times. I forgot. He lost the first time his first Mania with Roman and his recently with Roman as well. In that tag match, he took the pin.
Yeah, he took the pin as well, and then he's lost to. I'll find the other. He's lost to Drew at the start of the year, and then he's got a win rate of 92% in that. So anyway, I feel like they could have saved. I feel like Gunther should have won, and that not because of my predictions and that. Let's get that started, but yeah.
Yeah, with that particular pay per view, since it's still fresh in my head, what do you personally rate it?
It's probably a 6 personally.
All right. I have 2 different separate ratings for this. If you're gonna go off of like the show itself or the matches, if it was just based off matches alone, I would give it a good 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Easy, because the matches were very good. But when it's the show itself, it's 5 or 6.
can I ask?
It was that lackluster.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the crowd was, as I said, the crowd was like they were really buzzed for it and that, so it's really good to see and that. So yeah. Anyway, well, we've come to the end of the show on that. I know we've missed out on my story. I promised in 2 weeks we'll have part 4 of my story and that, and I'll go over the other parts as well. So,
yeah, I'm disappointed.
I know you are, but there is a couple of reasons as well. I'm trying to get it absolutely perfect, and I'm going to finish it as well, which we're leading up to Survivor Series, and then we're going to go all the way to Mania and that. So get ready for probably a 20-minute story next time as well. So, and then we will reveal the title of my story, and I'm hoping it just blows everyone's mind in that because I feel like it's a really good story in that. But I believe you have a question as well you want to ask the people, Legion, as well.
This is going to everybody, from people here on Twitch and our people over on YouTube as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, put your answer down in the comments. Who do you think is Roman Reigns' best rivalry of all time?
I like that question. Would you like me to give an answer?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
All right. All time. God. Going back to the days before he was the tribal chief as well, like, God. For me, 2 people keep coming up in that, and I know it probably won't be the same as everyone else, but for me, it's either Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar, and that's just me. So,
solid picks.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Who would you pick?
This one was a really easy one for me to pick. Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I could see Braun. Yeah, before. Yeah, I could see Braun Strowman as well because Braun, like it's. Can I say one thing about Braun Strowman? He's one of my favorite actually at the minute as well. Hopefully, he comes back soon. I know he's out with an injury in that, but the comedic timing of Braun Strowman is It's a. I know we don't really, and he's a really since the first time he picked up wrestling. I remember him debuting in the Wyatt family and that, and he was that green as a wrestler, like he couldn't do anything in that, and he's improved so much since then and that. And just his comedic timing, I don't know if you look up his comedic stuff and that, it's absolutely hilarious and that. So, yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, go on.
With speaking of Braun Strowman for a quick moment, you remember his first appearance in WWE? Do you remember it?
Yes, I do. Do I need to get the music?
Do the music.
I'm trying to think.
You gotta have the music.
I'm trying to think. He was a Rosebud. There was a lot of famous people as
Yeah.
a Rosebud as well, like
Oh yeah.
Alexa
I
Bliss,
think Alexa Bliss was. I
Becky
think
Lynch.
Sasha Banks
Yeah,
was.
Becky Lynch. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, Becky Lynch was one.
as well. So yeah, I do remember him being in the. God,
The vaudevillains were.
yeah, that's really taken it back. So, like Legion said, if you have a different opinion to us, put your thing in the YouTube and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, there is no wrong answer to this.
I mean, there is a wrong answer.
I
No,
have no comment.
I'm just trying to think who who would his worst feud be with.
Baron Corbin.
There's the answer right there. So we're going to end on that note. Once again, Legion, thank you for joining us. Thank you guys as well. Like, I know it's been a couple months since we do this. We will endeavor to. We got the Survivor Series in a couple of weeks. We will endeavor to do.
Oh,
We will endeavor to do a
one.
show before. I'm really looking towards the Survivor Series as well. It's been 1 year since probably my favoriteest moment ever, as well, with CM Punk returning. Like, I still can't get over that moment. Like, you know, they always say, you know, expect the unexpected in wrestling, but I never thought Punk would come back, and I'm really happy in that. And like, this last year of wrestling has just been really good for me. So yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
you probably don't know this yet, or you probably do.
What's that?
In 2 months, it'll be our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, we'll have to get something as well. So, yeah. I don't know what I can. What do wolves like?
Food.
What type of food?
Sorry, I got a sheep in my mouth.
Ah, there we go. There, I was waiting for it. Again, thank you for everyone for joining. We'll get this uploaded to Legion's YouTube channel. I don't know if you can quickly put this in before we head off and that, but yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. We'll be back for Survivor Series, and then we'll have an end of year show as well in December, and that. So, I thank you guys for sticking with us and that. You doing the YouTube thing, or you just want to head off?
Trying to.
Are you trying to? Sorry.
Trying to.
Okay. While we're waiting, let me.
You caught me off guard.
Sorry, that's my bad. There we go. There's the YouTube channel as well. And by the way, I found this the other day. My Steve Austin character I had since I was a little kid, since I was a kid as well. So yeah, got to put some wrestling things in the background as well. Thank you guys. Thank you again. Appreciate you guys for sticking by. Anyway, not much more to say except he is Legion.
Bye, guys.
I'm Sugar Ray. Enjoy wrestling, no matter what you do, no matter who you support in that. Just always, wrestling is wrestling. Please enjoy it.
Just don't try it at home.
Yeah, please don't try it at home as well. So, anyway, that's it for us. We'll see you for the next thing. Bye bye.